listening to the Marketing Personalities Podcast, a podcast for growth-minded entrepreneurs that serves up valuable insight and interviews about aligning your marketing strategy with your personality type. Because here's the deal. You shouldn't have to feel fake and salesy in order to grow your business. And you no longer have to. Your marketing strategy can feel good to implement and it can work. You can attract the right clients and customers to your business and grow your profits, all while staying true to who you naturally are. So in the name of honest business growth, bring your unique talents, perspectives, and personality to the table. And join us on this week's podcast episode to discover marketing that feels good for you. Welcome back to another episode of the Marketing Personalities Podcast. I'm Brit Kolo, and I'm here today to show you how to apply your personality type to your unique expertise so you can finally answer that nagging question. I know it's in your head. Who am I to be doing this? Right? Because we've all asked that question. You look around at what you're building in your business and the expert that you are truly becoming, and your inner critic chimes in with, who am I to be doing this? And you might have heard this termed around the imposter syndrome, right? Like that feeling that creeps in, convincing you that at some point you're going to be found out. Like people are going to realize that you don't actually know as much as you think you do, and they're going to laugh and point and shame you for being wrong about something that you felt so sure about at the time. I've never met a human that didn't feel this way, at least in some moments. And I know that I definitely have felt like this. And I recently chose to come to terms with this nagging question. Who am I to be doing this? Because let's face it, I have said it so many times in so many interviews, and this is not me downplaying my role as the founder of this company. It's just simply true. I feel that Marketing Personalities was created through me rather than by me. And if you've heard me say that before, great. It comes out almost in every interview I ever do. If you haven't heard that before, let me really explain. The creation of Marketing Personalities was very much like how Liz Gilbert explains creativity in her book, Big Magic. Have you read that one yet? If you haven't, highly recommend. Yes, it's got a very colorful kind of pink purple cover on it. So I think like creative dudes might not go for it, but I really, if whoever you are, Big Magic is required reading, if you ask me. And the way that Liz explains this is that an idea is gifted to you, and you're given the choice to either be the one who manifests that idea into existence, or you choose to not be the one to manifest it into existence, either through inaction, procrastination, or deliberate release of that idea back into the cosmos, right? Like you can say, I had that idea, and you know what? I'm not going to do that, but I hope somebody else does, right? I just had an idea like that recently, and I shared it with one of my mastermind friends, and I was like, that's a really great idea, and I'm not the one to actually put that into the world, and so I'm going to release that, and hopefully it'll get sparked in someone else now that I've released it, So when it came to Marketing Personalities, it's not like I was forcing myself to come up with a great scalable idea. It was gifted to me specifically. I received that gift and allowed it to be created through me. Now, I've gone far enough down this path, and I'm wondering if I've lost the logic-driven thinkers and the externally focused observers yet, right? I mean, I know the intuitive feelers are tracking with me, but okay, seriously, if I'm getting too woo-woo, stick with me. We're about to get tangible here. But hang with me for just a sec. So I get asked all the time in different interviews about how Marketing Personalities came to be. How did I create this framework? Where did this come from? And I deeply know this thing has been created through me because of who I am. Notice I did not say this thing has been created by me through what I do. Okay? This thing has been created through me because of who I am. And now that I've experienced what that really feels like, I believe that's where the absolute best creations come from. Now, is action and doing something required? Yes, to some degree, right? We've heard it everywhere. I feel like everyone always prefaces any kind of conversation about law of attraction where it's like, it's not just sitting on your couch eating chips and expecting $1 million to fall into your lap. Like everybody says that, right? So yes, action and doing something, yes, that is required. But I think we as driven, growth-minded entrepreneurs can so easily get the being and the doing twisted up and imbalanced. We want to do in hopes of making something work. And I just don't know that our best creations, where our biggest impact will come from in this life, comes from doing and making. I believe it comes from being and allowing. In fact, I sense that most of our frustrations, entrepreneurial and otherwise, stem from this insistence on doing and making day in and day out. And if we just take a moment to realize who we already are and allow that to flow through us and our work, well, credit to Liz Gilbert here, but big magic is bound to happen. Magic, impact, growth, pure, genuine provision in this world. I just got on my ENFJ soapbox and I'm not apologizing. So, but how do we find this, right? How do we find who we already are and allow that to flow through? The short answer to that question is introspection. Coming from the ENFJ, that's who I am, intuitive feeler, I believe introspection, self-reflection, self-awareness holds the keys to so many locks we feel stumped by right now. And we can go inside, we can become introspective and learn about ourselves through so many different avenues: meditation, journaling, movement, art, whatever feels like natural flow for you. But I want to make that more concrete, okay? Like the whole idea of marketing personalities is to identify who you are at your core and then allow that to inform your marketing strategy. And the way in which we find out who you are at your core is looking at your personality type, which is an expression of your ego, right? And that's cool. We can look at the personality type, and I've given you on this podcast and in everything I ever put out into the world, I've given you plenty of ways to go ahead and do that. Now I want to make this a bit more concrete, and I'm going to give you a tangible exercise to do with me right now based on your own personality type, of course. And I'm going to show you how to begin realizing who you are naturally without trying and doing and forcing. And then we'll see what kind of magic happens when you combine who you are to what you do. Okay. So this goes a little bit beyond marketing personalities, because what we've done so far and what I do in the bulk of my work is let's look at who you are and apply it to your marketing. What we're going to do in this really short, bite-sized, really quick exercise is we're going to get an idea of the essence of you, this core piece of you, and apply it to what you do. That's going to be your expertise, your industry, your mode of work, right? Okay, so here's how this is going to work. We're going to get into this exercise. I'm going to give you a word that is commonly associated with your specific personality type. Okay, I'm going to run through all 16 types, and each type is going to get a word or a really short phrase. You will then combine that word, your word, based on your personality type, with your personal area of expertise. Okay, and we'll see what comes when we combine just those two things. So for instance, the word I give to ENFJs is individualism, because ENFJs tend to uphold the individualistic differences among all things. And as a type, ENFJs really don't require any two things to be the same. If you're an ENFJ listening, you're like, oh my goodness, yes, you're right. So now, y'all know I'm an ENFJ. So in the case of my business, I combine individualism with marketing. Okay, so individualism plus marketing, individualistic marketing, individual marketing, marketing based on the individual, no one size fits all, personalized marketing, personality marketing, personality type marketing, marketing personality types. You see how that works? It's not like I didn't have this exercise in my back pocket when I came up with marketing personality types, but now I can look back and see why the idea, this spark of an idea, out of all the billions of people in the world, I have gotten a glimpse through this exercise why that spark of an idea had landed on me, and maybe a bit of the reason why I allowed it to flow through me. Again, I really don't feel like I created this thing. I allowed it to be created through me. So now that I can look back and see that magic that happened, I think we can play around with this a little bit and take a word that comes really core to you based on your personality type, combine it with your expertise, right? My expertise is marketing and my word was individualism. And holy smokes, I just came up with marketing personality types. I wonder what we could find if we combine your word with your area of expertise. Okay, so you want to just try this out and see what happens? I think this could be really cool. And remember, not only is this cool and probably going to spark some really great ideas or some really nice inspiration, but we're also trying to get down to the answer to that nagging question that inner critic loves to give us. Who am I to be doing this? Because when I have pulled the word individualism and marketing together, and I've realized that actually, who am I to be doing this? I'm the perfect person to be doing this. I mean, if I didn't uphold individualism just at the core of my being, so naturally, I'd never have had to try at that. That's just a thing that I do. I mean, what better person to bring this framework into the world? What a gift. So ideally, some of you, maybe you, the person listening to this right now, will finally get an answer to that question that's been nagging at you. Okay, so let's answer that question right now. I'm going to run down through all 16 personality types now, giving each type a word that's commonly associated with that type. Then it's up to you to combine that word with your area of expertise and see what you come up with. You might find that it finally explains why you are doing what you're doing in the world. You might also gain some clarity around how to get even more specific in your purpose. Maybe even a new idea is going to spark. We will see. So let's start. Okay. Now get ready to jot your word down. Okay. If you got a piece of paper, your phone, maybe you're working out at the gym, just grab your phone, open up the notes app, and let's get this done. Okay. I'm starting with INTJs. INTJs, your word is rebellion, right? INTJs, such rebels. Next, INTP, your word is innovation. True innovators, the INTP. Next, ENTJ, your little phrase is how to. How to. It's so core to ENTJs. Next, ENTP, your short phrase is showing both sides of. Showing both sides of. Okay. Next type, INFJ. Your word is advocacy. INFP. Your word is collaboration. ENFJs. Your word, as we know, is individualism. Next type, ENFP. Your word is teaching. ISTJ. Your word is tradition. ISFJ, your word is service. ESTJ, your word is management. ESFJ, your word is friendship. Final four now. ISTP, your word is mastery. ISFP, your word is exploration. ESTP, your word is social. And ESFP, your word is entertain. Okay? Those are all 16 types, and all those words are small little phrases. So there's your starting point. That one word or phrase that can be combined with your area of expertise, what you do, to find your unique angle and why you are the person to be doing this. Now, for the person listening right now who heard their word that I just gave them and didn't really resonate with it, here's what I recommend doing. First, look at that word that I just gave you, and maybe it's just the choice of word. Maybe you could find a synonym, a very similar word, and that's going to speak to you better. It's got, basically the same meaning, but there's just a tweak of that word that's going to make it so much more resonant to you. Go ahead and do that. That's totally fine. Now, if that's not really the case and you're not really coming up with a synonym, my next advice is to pull up your personality type results from 16personalities.com and see what words and truths stick out to you in your results. 16 personalities, no affiliation to them, but they give you a great breadth and depth of intel into you. And so read through that, see what words and truths stick out to you. Can you find a word that resonates better for you and combine that with your expertise? I bet that you can. And that's where your unique magic begins. Now, I genuinely hope that you've enjoyed this exercise. It's been very fun for me to play around with, and then it's been extremely fun for me to record this episode. I've been really biting at the bit / a little nervous about recording this episode because I recognize it's a little different, but it's so much fun. So I cannot wait to hear what you think about this. So what I'd like you to do now, yes, you, the individual listening to this right now, what I'd like you to do is to come over to Instagram and find me at Marketing Personalities and comment on this episode's post. The post was posted on Thursday, July 18th. If you're listening to this the day that the podcast episode goes live, that's today. If you're listening to it in the future, go back to the July 18th Instagram post and comment very simply your word and your area of expertise under that post. Okay, so for instance, I would comment individualism plus marketing. A couple more examples. If you're an INTJ accountant, your comment might be rebellion plus numbers. Okay. And if you are an ENFP fertility doctor, say, your comment might be teaching plus fertility. Interesting, right? So whatever your unique combination is, come comment on the Instagram post at Marketing Personalities, and let's see what kind of magic is sparked through this exercise we've just done together. Cool? Okay, I'll see you over on Instagram. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you back here next week as we dive into a very hot topic, marketing for introverts. Stay tuned. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Marketing Personalities Podcast. Now it's time to connect your marketing strategy to your personality type. Go to marketingpersonalities.com/MPP to download your marketing personality type full report. Use the code MPP at checkout to get $10 off. And that's a super special code for podcast listeners as a way to say thank you for being here. In your full report, you'll learn about your personality type, how it relates to the work you do, what your best marketing strategy includes so you can start implementing it right away, what your worst marketing strategy includes so you can avoid it, and so much more. Go to marketingpersonalities.com/MPP to get your full report and use the code MPP at checkout to receive $10 off your purchase. And one more thing before you skip on to the next podcast. Would you please share this episode with your entrepreneur friends who also need to feel good about their marketing strategies? Take a quick screenshot of your podcast app right now and share it out via text, Facebook, or my favorite, Instagram. Remember to tag me at Marketing Personalities in the photo so I can be sure to send you a huge high five and thank you for sharing the love. This podcast is edited and produced by the Podcast Engineers. They're pretty great, and you can find them at podcastengineers.com. That's all for now. Thanks as always for listening, and I'll catch you back here next week on the Marketing Personalities Podcast. Love ya. Bye.